take two, I guess. I started to do this video and then somebody called to tell me my chair is done. So, I'm taping this video in my office in my little world, and I moved here 7 years ago, not having worked for almost 4 years. So broken in so many pieces. I walked in for my first interview and sat down and talked with the doctor for a little bit, and I warned him. I said, I have PTSD. I am coming out of an abusive relationship. And yeah, he was good with it. He was absolutely fine with it. He was the most understanding boss I have ever... Roger might have been more understanding, but Roger was also pretty demanding. Our clinic specialized in psychiatry, which gave me an insight. The more I learned about the different people who came here, the more I learned about myself. This was a part of my healing process. We also specialized in addiction therapy, which is why I came to the conclusion that abuse is a form of addiction. People talk about breaking the cycle. They talk about all kinds of different things. A person who's addicted to something, it's hard for people who haven't been addicted to understand. It's this rush, this need. Oh my gosh, I have to do this. I need this. It is your greatest highs and your worst lows all combined. And the abuse is the same thing. You're only happy if you're with that person. You get around them, and as long as they're happy, your endorphins kick up, and you're so happy. And then something happens to upset the balance, and all of a sudden, you are at the lowest point you've ever been, and oh my gosh, how can I make them happy again? I will do anything I can to make them happy again. Sound like anybody? I'll do anything I need to. I'll sell whatever I need to get my next fix. It is a form of addiction. People with chemical addictions do have options. And if you're watching this and you deal with chemical addiction, please call hotlines, look into your area, Suboxone. What you want is called Suboxone. I don't know if you've ever heard of methadone. That does not work. You stay addicted. What you need to be on is Suboxone. I watched so many countless lives changed in this office. So many people who came in here with a reason, with a purpose. I've got a kid, I've got a grandkid, I'm getting married, whatever their reason was. Sometimes the best ones were just for them. I realized I can't do this to my life anymore. I wish I could say I was one of those people. I got out for my stepson. I was not going to let him become his daddy. His mom and I agreed. We could not let that happen. And when I came here, I was a wreck. I was told it was so simple. You check people in, you take their payments, you make them in a new appointment, and check them out. And then I was dealing with billing, and then I was dealing with insurance, and then I was filing paperwork. And the next thing I knew, I was running non-stop, problem solving everywhere, and I loved it. I have never been so happy at a job. And if I was not problem solving, I was talking. I was listening. I was offering my 2 cents worth. A rule at a group that I go to is you ask before you offer advice. And when you offer advice, you never say you should. It's really easy to say that. It's really easy to say, this is what you should do. I very much hope that I will never say that on this channel, other than telling you that if you are in distress, please, please go to somebody. I will beg you to go to somebody. I won't tell you you have to. because I know you may not be able to in your circumstance. I don't know where you are. I don't know what point you're at, and but I want you to get out. We share from our experiences because our experiences can help other people. And that's why I'm making this channel. That's why I'm talking to all of you. And I know I keep going back in the dark. My elbow is tired. It made sense to do today's video here because I'm cleaning all of the things that I own out of the office. Pictures I purchased, and the vacuum I bought, and the decorations. St. Pat's, Easter, Valentine's Day, Halloween, Christmas, 4th of July. If there was a holiday, this office knew it. And if I didn't have my decorations up, the patients let me know. I spoiled them with candy. I've got a sign. I had a sign in my office that said it's all about the candy. But I love them for so much more, and they knew that if they really needed to talk, they could talk to me at any time. Yeah, I was always willing to listen. Three days, I found out Monday that they'd passed away, and I'm here, and I'm getting my stuff out, and I'm falling apart. And I don't know how to handle that. But I can talk to you guys, and I can tell you that a big part of the healing process for me was being here. I can tell you to keep moving forward. I began talking to people about my experience, and not everybody can do that, so please don't think you have to. Don't think that's your healing process. Everybody's healing process is different, and that's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. People needed to know they weren't alone. And that's what I gave them. I'd been through depression with my parents' divorce. I've been through a horrible teenager. I was a rotten teenager. And then the ups and downs of the abuse had them thinking I was bipolar for a while. And when you don't know someone's in an abusive relationship, it's hard to understand the difference. And you'll notice I talk a lot with my hands. I came here so broken. I didn't know how to be alone. I had my TV going, my radio playing music, my friend on Skype, another friend on my phone, and I'm knitting all at the same time. It was like sensory overload, but I didn't know how to be alone. End of July, I moved into my first place on my own, and I didn't know how to cope. When you're used to being attached to someone like that, because that's what it is when you're in an abusive situation. As much as they may have isolated you from the world, you're attached to them. And even when they're gone, in a lot of ways, you're never alone because they're still tethered to you, or you're tethered to them. And it takes a lot to break that tether. The first year I was here, I didn't break that tether. I would go home to visit friends, and I would wind up coming across him. And when I finally did make the break, I finally got through it, I had that breakthrough, I changed my number and I was done. A mutual friend gave him my number. And he called late one night. I was expecting my stepson's mom. And I got my ex. And I fell to pieces. The next day I went in, I got my number changed again, and I made darn sure I stopped talking to that friend. Because if they couldn't acknowledge that I needed to not be around him, that I needed a clean break, then they weren't really a friend. Yeah, and I still love them. I very much still love them. But they can't do what's healthy for me. I'm not asking them to put me above them. I would never ask anybody to put me above them, and I hope you... Everybody needs to take care of themselves. Not ever do anything for anybody else. God knows I would sacrifice for my stepson in a minute. I would sacrifice myself for my siblings, for my soul sisters. but that she could not acknowledge that something she didn't need to do. She didn't need to do it for her health. She didn't need to do it for, whatever. She did it. I don't even know why she did it. She didn't have my best at heart. And that's not okay. We hurt. We are broken. And, for that little bit, we need to reach out and we need to go, hey guys, you're my strength. You're part of that little shield. All those people in this giant circle around me that's sheltering me while I put myself back together. I told a friend recently, if you can get out of an abusive relationship, if you can survive an abusive relationship, even if you're still there, you are so strong, it's not even funny. It takes a lot of inner strength to survive an abusive relationship, to get out of an abusive relationship. And yes, we're broken. And part of our strength comes in admitting that we're broken. But you know what? You start to heal, you're putting yourself back together with super glue, baby. And that just makes you stronger. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I don't know that I've ever really believed that. I've quoted it. My ex, I am fireproof. It doesn't mean I'm not going to break. There's a lot of cracks here, But, in the words of Queen Latifah, I am a bona fide supermodel, baby. The confidence, the inner strength in myself, the knowing that, I have to ask for help, but that my friends ask me for help all the time. So you know what? That's okay. Something I recently realized, it's not recently, but I had somebody help me frame it in a better way. Especially when you are broken, it is so much easier to fix somebody else. When you're helping fix somebody else, you can see the whole puzzle. You see the whole picture. And you go, this piece goes here, and this piece goes here, and this piece goes here. Well, when you're the puzzle itself, you can't see all your pieces. I mean, seriously, if you're standing in the middle of a puzzle, how are you going to see it all? You don't have that bird's eye view. You can't see it. How are you going to see it? Well, that's why you pick up one piece at a time, and you drag it to an empty spot, and you sit it down, and you jump on top of it and go, fit, 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 fit. And if it doesn't fit, then you move it to another spot. And you put it down, and you jump on it, and you go, fit, 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 fit. And you keep going until you make that puzzle. Because you are a beautiful puzzle. And nobody else is your puzzle. Nobody else has your story. So that's what working here helped me realize, that nobody else has my story. Nobody else is like me. Nobody has what I have to offer to the world. And that's part of what I loved about this office, was I could offer that to people. I could sit and listen. I could listen to their stories, and I could see how their cracks, how their pieces made them so much more beautiful. And I could tell them that. And in seeing how beautiful their cracks made them, I began to see how beautiful my cracks make me. So that's today. I will post again next week. My love to all of you. Stay strong, my darlings. Again, if you are in a dangerous situation, please look for a hotline. Contact your YWCA. Contact the area, your local area, please. There are programs out there. Don't let them say there's not. Don't let people underreact. Please take care of yourself first. You have loved ones, I know you do. And to take care of them, you have to take care of you. Okay? So, goodbye for today. It's the end of a lot of chapters in my life, and when I see you next week, we'll be beginning a new one. Thursday is the results on all of my testing, so we'll really be beginning a new one. I'll let y'all know how that goes. I might post over the weekend, we'll see. Going to do a memorial for the doctors on Sunday, so I suspect not till next week. But, like I said, my love to all of you. My thoughts and prayers are with all of you. Stay strong, guys.